to now finance meters and then get the revenues over the life of the asset.
On the possibility of users not being able to move with their meters when relocating from one area to another, he says this too has been factored into the implementation plans and strategies.
See, there's a difference between the electricity business and telecoms. The way the utility thing works is that when a disco comes to do customer enumeration, they look at your physical address where you are. So you have a fixed physical location. The meter has an identity. So that identity of the meter is tied to that location. Then you are served with a distribution transformer. So in terms of the information about this customer that is in this location, the distribution transformer serving him and the feeder that is serving him, all part of the complete information that forms this CIN number, customer identification number. So when you move, that CIN remains where it is. When you move to the new location where you have fully paid, you have another meter that is placed there. Not that you move there and then suddenly there is no meter.
Meter Assets Provider gives local manufacturers at least 30% of these meters to supply, with the possibility of an increase based on their performance. Engineer Kola Balogun sits at the aim of affairs of one of the biggest local manufacturers in the country, Momas. He sees the Meter Assets Provider as a step in the right direction.
Meter Assets Provider is another scheme from the regulator or the government to ensure meters are given over a period of time, or any consumer that are willing to pay for the meter have the liberty and freedom to pay and get the meter as at when due within specified limited period. So it will cut off all the bureaucracy of queuing, pay for meter without getting it over a period of months, and it will totally eliminate all this estimated billing for consumers. So I actually see it as a welcome development to free consumer from the dominance of estimated billing by the DISCO.
Beyond giving every consumer an opportunity to measure electricity consumption accurately, the program will also be of immense economic benefits to Nigerians.
The economic benefits is so huge that anybody who understood what the map is all about is opportunity for them to reduce our unemployment in the country, because young guys will be able to do meter installation, and in other words, to remove all the bandits on the street and every other thing. They will be able to have something to do. What I've foreseen as a major setback for the policy is financing. The tenure for the deployment or for recovery process is too long. It's like 10 years. We have never gotten any bank that will be able to do long-term financing, and even the foreign firm are not so comfortable to actually give us a long-term financing. So the government still need to look into it so that we can reduce the recovery period to a minimum of 3-4 years, and also our financial institution in the country or government can even intervene through the CBN to provide liquidity for the purpose of, because what we are addressing unemployment, we are addressing consumer dissatisfaction. So when we are addressing labor issue, the issue of lack of performance from the DISCO. So it requires a government intervention. So government should intervene by making sure we have sufficient liquidity. We as a manufacturer, we need upfront payment in order to prepare ourselves to buy the raw material and every other thing. And we can use that opportunity to do expansion in order to create more avenue for us to employ more Nigerians into the manufacturing scheme. And it's an opportunity to equally enforce any foreign people who want to participate in the map to come and set up their factory here.
Until the scheme takes off, the responsibility of providing prepaid meters rests on the shoulders of the DISCOs, an area they've not lived up to expectations. It, however, appears the initiative to them is also a blessing, but there are areas of concerns as well. according to the spokesperson of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, ANED.
For us as DISCOs, it is a welcome development. However, we have to also tread carefully because we need to look at the role of a regulator in an industry like this. The initiative came from the federal government through our regulator, and we support it. But the regulator must be independent, and they must be seen to be independent. And for some utterances in the last 24 hours, the current chairman of NEC, I'm afraid, does not stand to be an independent regulator. A regulator should balance interests between the government views, the other stakeholders, among stakeholders, so that whatever we do, the private sector, the government, there's a need for a connect. There's a need for collaboration. There's a need for that alignment. If you have 3 children, you should not be feeding one child at the detriment of the other 2 children. And then you start flogging the other 2, then saying that they're not doing well in school. They cannot do well because you need to do it together.
As far as he is concerned, the regulatory body has failed in creating a conducive environment for the operations of the DISCOs, a reason the industry has not functioned effectively.
A review ought to have taken place. They have failed to do 3 of such, yet they want the best industry, the best DISCO. DISCO should perform magic, we should do everything. And for everybody to be bashing the DISCOs, we are not doing the industry any good. You can even take the licenses of all the current investors, take it from them, let them go home, give them their money, take the license, give it to somebody else. If you bring an angel to come around the Nigerian DISCO as at today, that angel will fail because all those factors that will make success a reality are just not there. But again, we welcome MAP.
To keep the industry healthy, there is need for stakeholders to work harmoniously. This, he feels, is absent and therefore constituting a clog in the wheels of progress.
You don't have life because those people or those of us who are in charge of your life, we are not talking to one another. Everybody seems to be doing their own to satisfy their masters. Everybody seems to want to score some points and go populist on television and start making some very malicious and inaccurate statements, even though what we need to do is to all come together, talk together. And the issue of the ministers' monthly meeting, it has not been working for a while anyway. They've been having the meetings, but it has not.
Power supply, more than any other factor, is germane to the sustenance and growth of industries, which in turn drives the economy of a nation. To move forward, the blame game must stop and every supporting structure primed properly for optimal output so the average Nigerian can comfortably map his way out of exorbitant billings.